with EBT cards? Yes? Okay. So she grabs her EBT card and she's in mid-swipe and the dude turns around and he says, "You stupid, boop. How the boop are you going to use our EBT card for? Boop, boop. I got money right here, you stupid, boop." So all of this is going on and the store is full of people. And what do we all say to ourselves? Nothing, I don't want to get involved. And then, as a matter of fact, some people start faking it, and they're like looking at prices at the dollar store. What does this cost? Right? So I'm standing there, and I'm just like everybody else. I'm like, I'm not getting into this. And this dude just seems to be puffing up bigger and bigger, right? Like a big old blowfish. And so he's all big, and he's pointing his finger. And then something speaks to me and said, "Say something." And I was like, "You've got to be kidding me. I'm not getting into this." And the voice said, "Say something." And so then, I don't know about you, but I start making deals with the voices when it's something I don't want to do. I'm like, okay, voice, if they're in the parking lot once I'm done with my transaction, because what I got to do right now is so important in a dollar store, then I'll say something, right? So I grab, I swipe my card, and it's taking a long time because I'm doing it slow because I know it's not gonna catch because I'm trying to stall, right? So finally I get my stuff and I head out the door and I see them walking to another store, and the dude is still going off. And he's pointing at her, blah, 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 blah. So I start walking behind him, and then he takes a call. So he's talking, "Yeah, man, she's so stupid," and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, "Oh, he's on the phone. I can't interrupt." So I start walking to my car, but I said, "Hey, voice, if he's off the phone before I get to my car, I'll say something." So I start walking to the car, and at the periphery, I'm kind of watching him, but I'm trying to rush over to my car. He gets off the phone. By this time, they've entered a grocery store. So I follow them into the grocery store. Now, one of the things that I know is that, you don't walk up to a stranger and tap them on the shoulder and say, "I want to talk to you." Right? So I go around an aisle and I meet them face to face. Now, I will tell you that the voice was very adamant and very encouraging for me to go talk to this dude, but now the voice has been absolutely silent. So now I'm standing in front of the guy, and now I'm stalling for the voice to give me something because I don't have anything. And one thing I do know is that if I say the wrong thing, who's going to catch it? She's going to catch it, right? And so and I don't know what it is, but I know she's gonna get it, right? So I come around the aisle and I come up to the young man and I said, "Sir, can I talk to you for a second?" He puffs up big. "What?" I'm like, "It's all good." So I lay my ears down, I tuck my tail between my legs, so I want to show that I'm non-threatening, So I'm like, "No, it's all good, sir. I just want to talk to you for a second." And so I stand there in front of him and I said, "Well, can you take 2 steps to the left?" And so when we take the 2 steps to the left, that's the social signal for the mom and the baby to give us some space. So the mom and the baby kind of walk off a little bit. And so I'm standing there, and now I haven't gotten anything from the voice. So I'm trying to stall. So we're looking at each other, and I'm smiling, and he's kind of like, "What?" And so finally, the voice says, "Open your mouth." And so this is what comes out of my mouth. I said, "Sir, can I tell you something that I've learned about women? If you want her to grow, you have to water her and give her sunshine." So I repeated it, not for him, but for me. I had no idea what that meant. Right? So I said that. I said, "If you want her to grow, you have to water her and give her sunshine." And I stood there in amazement that this came out of my mouth. And I said, "Do you understand?" And he took a big breath. And he exhaled. And the shells and the scales and the puffiness of this big blowfish deflated. And he looked at me and he said, "Yes, I do." I said, "Great, sir. Have a great day. I'll see you later. I'm out of here." Right? I wasn't trying to give him my business card. I wasn't signing him up for Amway or my multi-level marketing scheme. And it took me a long time to figure out why it was so important for me to speak in that particular situation. And when it came to me, it was very humbling to me, and it was an encouragement to me to garner myself to practice more speaking in those types of situations. And the reason that I did it later, as I found out, was that there was a baby involved. That young person needed to know that there was somebody out in the community that would speak on his behalf, that would interrupt the foolishness that was going on in his family. And I will tell you that people who have been victimized typically victimize others, thinking that that's going to heal them. The thing that was the most tragic for me, or the thing that really hurt my soul, was as he's cussing her out in the store, guess what her response was? Nothing. Nothing. Which let me know that she was dealing with that kind of hurt on a regular basis. All right? So let's move on to something else. So if you can open your hand out, and you'll see that there are 5 circles on the left side, on the right side of your handout. Does everyone have a handout? If you don't have a handout, raise your hand and we can get you one. All right, so there's a bunch of folks in the back who did not choose to sit in the VIP seating that's up here. So, good, I have plenty. So, yeah. If you can pass it to your compatriot, that'd be great. Anyone else over here? Okay, great. Do you have one? All right, good. So what I'd like you to do is I want you to put one thing that you value in each one of those circles. One thing that you value or that is important to you. One thing that is of value or important to you in each one of those great circles. It could be a concept like freedom or love. It could be a car. It could be a thing. It could be a person that is of value to you. All right? One thing that is of value or importance to you. Can I have a couple more pens? Pens. So one thing that is important or of value to you. It looks like most people have 4, if not all 5, so we'll get started with the second part. What I'd like you to do is I want you to find 2 people for each one of the things that you wrote down. Either that they agree with it, they say, hey, that's a really good idea, or that they have something that is similar to what you have. So if someone has a brother and someone has uncle, that's family, so you can sign on that. So I want you to put your autograph on, I want you to find 2 autographs for each one of the things that you wrote down. You have 90 seconds to do this. On your mark, get set, go.
Do you want 2 things? I guess we sign in there.
60 seconds. Thirty seconds.
Oh, okay.
10 seconds.
For me? Would it be
4, 3, 2,
Got it.
1. Game over. All right, so as you were going around the room, were there things that you saw in other people's papers and you were like, that was a good idea, why didn't I think of that? I should have wrote that down. What were some of those things? Go ahead. Health. You saw health on someone else's paper and said, that was a good idea, I should have wrote that down. Someone else, yes. Faith. You saw faith on someone else's and said, man, I should have wrote that down. Yes. Family. You saw that on someone else's. All right, one more. Yes. Purpose. You saw that on someone else's and said, I should have wrote that down. All right. Let me back up just for a second. Is there, did everyone at least find someone to write on their paper? Is there anyone that has a totally blank piece of paper where they were not able to find any signatures? Okay, so everybody was at least able to find one signature. That's great. That's great. All right, so as you were going around the room, were there things that were more difficult to find someone to sign on, or you actually didn't find someone to sign on? What was, yes?
Love.
Love. Please raise your hand if you value love, even if it wasn't written on your paper. All right, cool, cool, cool. One more. Yes?
Community.
Community. Please raise your hand if you value community, even if it wasn't written on your paper. All right? Cool. You know what? I'll be risky and go up for one more. Yes, sir. Oh, one more. Yes.
Communication.
Communication. If you value communication, raise your hand. All right, great. What was the obvious point of this particular exercise? What were we trying to get at with this exercise? Yes, ma'am. We are more alike than we think. We are more alike than we oftentimes know. And what I would submit to you is that it is our values that are much more alike, although we have differing cultures. And we'll talk briefly about what that is. So that's important, that we're more alike than we're different. And what is it that makes us most alike? Our values, all right? What else makes us most alike?
We're all people.
We are human beings, right? So before we were anything else, we were born human, and we'll get a chance to talk about that really quick. So, and one of the things that I celebrate is that I live in one of the greatest countries that's ever existed in the history of humanity, the United States of America. I love this country. Right? The preamble, we hold these, we the people, the preamble to the Constitution, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare and the security of blessings and liberty to ourselves and our posterity, we do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. Declaration of Independence, paragraph 2, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these rights are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord, His truth is... Okay, so if you read those words and adrenaline doesn't start pumping, you don't get excited about this country, you need a checkup. All right? These are great and wonderful things. And so because I love this country, I can call her to task. Because I don't mind paying taxes as long as they plow my street. Right? So I don't mind being a part of this great democracy. And so as a part of this great democracy, I can call her to task. And there have been some inconsistencies with all of these great things. We'll talk about them right now. In 1863, what happened? 1863.